Welcome to Diseases, Animals, and Robots, the epidemiology show. Sit back, enjoy the video, and let's explore the science of disease together. On today's show, we'll dive into a study titled Evaluating Sampling Strategies for Effective Detection of African Swine Fever in Growing Pig Populations in the U.S. and what it means for surveillance and disease control.
Imagine there's an invisible, deadly virus that could wipe out a multi-billion-dollar industry before anyone even realizes it's there. It's like a ticking clock for our food supply. So, how in the world do you find one sick pig among tens of thousands before it's too late? Well, let's dive into the incredible science behind the search. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to follow a team of what are basically scientific detectives. We'll start with the threat itself, this virus. Then, we're going to step into their virtual lab where they simulated a massive outbreak. From there, we'll join the hunt for patient zero, uncover some really tricky real-world problems, and finally, reveal the surprisingly simple rule they discovered to stop a disaster in its tracks. So first up, let's meet the villain of our story. It's what's known as a foreign animal disease, which means it hasn't shown up in the United States yet. But the danger it poses is so huge that being ready for it is absolutely critical. We're talking about African swine fever, or ASFV. And for pigs, this thing is just devastating. It spreads like wildfire, it's often fatal, and it's a massive headache for animal health officials all over the world.
And listen, this isn't just about the health of the animals. An outbreak here in the US would mean catastrophic economic losses. It could completely disrupt the entire pork industry. So the bottom line is this: if it ever gets here, we have to find it and find it fast. I mean, any delay gives the virus a chance to jump from farm to farm, and then containment becomes nearly impossible. So how do you possibly prepare for a crisis you've never actually had? I mean, you can't just release a deadly virus on a farm to see what happens, right? So instead, scientists built the next best thing: a massive, totally safe virtual laboratory to test all their strategies. They created what you can basically call a digital twin of the entire US swine industry. Honestly, you should think of it like a super advanced flight simulator, but for disease outbreaks. It lets them run thousands of different what-if scenarios to see what works and what doesn't, all without a single real animal ever being in any danger. It's pretty amazing. And get this, the scale of this simulation is just incredible. This wasn't some model of a generic, made-up farm. No. They used real-world data from nearly 2,000 commercial farms spread across 33 states. We're talking about a huge, diverse slice of the actual industry, which means the results are going to be way more reliable and useful in the real world. And here's where it gets really cool. Look at how detailed this simulation was. The virus could spread in all the ways it would in real life, from direct pig-to-pig contact, through contaminated material in the pens, or even through the air between different barns on the same farm. They programmed in every single possibility. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the investigation. In those first few days of an outbreak, the virus is barely there. It might be in just one pig, in one pen, on a giant farm with thousands of other healthy animals. Finding that first case, it's literally like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
So that brings us to the big million-dollar question. It's not possible to test every single pig on a big farm. So if you've only got a limited number of tests, how do you use them in the smartest way possible to find that virus before it explodes?
So the researchers tested a bunch of different approaches, but let's just focus on two opposite ideas. Strategy A is what you might call going deep. You sample a lot of pigs, but from just a few pens, so like 6 pigs from 5 pens. Strategy B is going wide. You sample just one pig, but from a lot of different pens, say 30 of them. Now notice, in both cases, you're testing the exact same number of animals, 30 pigs. So, what's the smarter play here?
And boom, here's the answer, clear as day. The simulation proved that in those crucial first days of an outbreak, strategy B, going wide, is way more effective. On just day 4, sampling from 30 different pens gave you a 29% chance of finding the virus, but that narrow strategy, only a 19% chance. Spreading your bets gives you a much better shot at hitting the jackpot.
But, of course, the real world is never that clean and simple, right? The simulation also had to factor in all the messy, complicated stuff that vets deal with every day, things that can really throw a wrench in even the best plans.
For instance, what happens when you've got a red herring? I mean, imagine you're looking for pigs with ASV symptoms,
But there's another, much more common disease on the farm that makes pigs look sick in the exact same way. How do you possibly know which pig to test?
And this is a very real problem. A virus called PRRSV is super common in the US, and it causes things like lethargy and appetite loss, which look almost identical to the early signs of ASFV. A vet could easily waste precious time and tests on pigs that just have PRSV, not the world-ending ASFV.
Now look at this, because this shows just how devastating that confusion can be if you have a bad sampling strategy. When the researchers added PRSV into the simulation, the effectiveness of that narrow 5-pen strategy just plummeted. Its ability to find the virus dropped by as much as 55%. You end up chasing ghosts while the real fire is spreading undetected.
And wait, there's another curveball. Not all strains of ASFV behave the same way. A really nasty, highly virulent strain is actually easier to spot because it makes pigs super sick super fast. But a more moderate strain is a lot stealthier. The simulation showed that while you'd find 97% of farms with the nasty strain within 2 weeks, you'd only find 36% of the farms with the sneaky one. It just makes a robust wide net strategy even more important.
Okay, so we've seen the threat, we've seen the simulation, we've seen all the real-world problems, so where does this all lead? Well, all of this complex research points to a really clear, simple, and powerful rule that can be used out in the field tomorrow.
Here it is, the bottom line. The research boils down to this easy 3-step plan, which we're calling the 30-pen rule. Step 1, sample from 30 different pens. If the farm is smaller than that, just sample all of them. Step 2, you only need 1 sample from each of those pens. That's it. And step 3, if you see sick pigs, obviously start there. But if no one looks sick, which is common in the beginning, just pick your pens at random. It's simple, it's practical, and it works.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The authors of the study concluded the exact same thing. This strategy gives you the absolute best bang for your buck, the highest chance of finding the virus with the fewest number of tests. It's a plan that's ready to go, and it balances all that intense science with real-world practicality.
So, this research gives us a vital roadmap to protect the pork industry from ASFE. But it also leaves us with an even bigger question to think about. This whole principle of casting a wide net to find a hidden threat, it's a really powerful idea. So how can we take these lessons in smart, efficient surveillance and apply them to prepare for the next disease, the one that we don't even know about yet?
This is everything for today. If you are interested in learning more or have additional questions, I strongly encourage you to read the full publication. The reference is provided below. If you still have questions, feel free to contact the authors. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.